Okay.
I'd like to call the meeting of the St. Louis County Board of Zoning Adjustment to order. The board members present today are Janet Herman, Chairman, Angelia Bills, Vice Chairman, and Justin Randall, Member. The BZA Coordinator, the staff planner is Abby Freudel. First, I offer into the record the affidavit of publication pertaining to today's meeting, May 4th, 2022. The board hereby takes official notice of and admits into evidence on the record the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance, Chapter 1003, St. Louis County Revised Ordinance 1974 as amended, and Chapter 1004, St. Louis County Revised Ordinance 1974 as amended. Next, I call for a motion to approve the minutes of the previous BZA meeting of April 20th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
The hearing procedure is informal, but is a teleconference and is recorded. The planning staff will reach each request into the record. The petitioner will be unmuted, state their name, and make a brief presentation to the board explaining the reason and hardship for the requested variance. The board will not consider financial hardships. Board members may ask questions to clarify the facts. When the board is satisfied with the material presented, the chairperson will then ask if there is anyone in favor or opposition to the request. To indicate you would like to speak, click the hand next to your name. If any comments were submitted, staff will read them into the record. Before I call for the vote, the petitioner may request a continuance in order to bring in additional documentation. The board may also request a continuance to gather additional information or for a visit to the site. Once comments have been heard, the chairperson will call for a vote. At that time, the discussion has ended and no further discussion is permitted. The board will generally make a decision today. 2 members of the board must vote in favor of the petition for it to be approved. If a variance is approved, you have 6 months to obtain the necessary permits or establish the use requested, or the variance will expire. The petitioner or any interested party has the right of appeal to the St. Louis County Circuit Court. This must be done within 30 days of the decision. Paperwork indicating the board's decision will be mailed to the petitioners.
(43-22) Jimmy Perkins requests an exception to construct a 30.7 foot by 38.7 foot detached garage, which will be more than half the footprint of the home, and the rear yard regulations at 374 Kinswood Lane, maintaining a rear yard of 10 feet in lieu of 15 feet, as required by the R3 Residence District regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance. Okay, Jimmy Perkins, you are unmuted to give your presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jimmy Perkins, and I want to thank you all for listening to my case. And the reason why I'm wanting to do this is I'm going to point out a few of the things that was drafted in the letter that was sent to the committee. I think the most important factor that I want to bring to your attention is that in June of 2010. I'm looking at the police report. I was broken into and burglarized while I was at work on June 18th that day. Why I want to bring it to your attention is because the thief they kicked in my rear door into the kitchen of my house, and they stole a TV, and they stole a push lawnmower from my garage. With the plans as it is, and being 15 feet away from the property line, it puts the garage in view, or it kind of hides the location of the stairs, to where I just, being burglarized and broken into is one of those moments in your life that you just don't forget. And I would feel safer if the garage was pushed back just simply that 5 feet, to where it would keep those stairs visible to anybody from across my yard. The second point I'd like to highest priority of the points that we drafted in the letter is that I visited three of my neighbors that are directly behind me, that their property abuts directly to my property, and asked them to sign, and they gladly did. They signed a letter stating that that it will not be a bother to them, that they're okay if the building is constructed 10 feet from the property line as opposed to the 15 feet. And the one thing I'd like to say about that is the two of those properties are the ones that will be, behind where the garage will be built, directly behind. And the third one is the one next over that would be that the garage would certainly be visible, but it would not be directly to their property. I guess my third point that I'd like to that I'd like to highlight is that this is an established community, somewhat in the country, and we don't anticipate the utilities structure changing in the future. I've been told by the previous owners, I purchased this house 20 years ago, and the previous owners told me that this was the oldest house that was built in this community. So the community kind of grew around this house, if you would. So, but yeah, there's no reason for me to believe that the utilities would change. And the last point that I'd like to highlight is just looking out my kitchen window and looking across my property, that 5 feet would give me more visibility of my property, and that's just kind of aesthetically to me, I think it would look nicer as well if it was pushed back from the house. So those are I guess that's my case, and I'd like to invite anybody for any questions that you might have or anything that I can clarify.
Well, I have a question. The slide we're looking at right now, which is your current garage, I guess,
Yes.
is that at the 10 feet in lieu of 15 feet?
I'm sorry?
Is that at 10 feet right now? Or is that?
No, ma'am. It is, I guess, technically 2 feet from the property line, but it is right on the property line.
Okay, so the new one that you're asking for would be over further away from the property line. Further away from the property line than this.
West.
Right
So
now.
as you're looking at the picture, the new garage would be to the it would overlap the footprint a little bit, but it would be to the right and closer to where the picture was taken from.
Okay.
So is it closer to the property line or farther away from the property line?
The old garage is closer to the property line.
The new one will be farther away.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that is correct. It's the zoning rules say 15 feet. I'm asking for it to be 10 feet from the property line.
Okay.
Okay, and then can we go
now.
back to the other, Abby, can we go back to the picture of the proposed garage, please? Excuse me.
Do you want the elevation or would you like the site plan?
This one is what I was looking at.
Okay.
Now I'm wondering what, so you're proposing to have a second floor,
Yes.
and what would that be the purpose of that?
Just for storage. I have an old house here, and I do have a desire later to possibly finish my basement, and I would like just to have the extra storage for the upstairs. The loft will be about half. It's not a full upstairs. It's a loft. It's about halfway over the garage. So it'll be over the kind of the center of the center garage door to the right is what it will cover upstairs.
Justin or Angelia, do you have any questions?
And that the other variance is also to be larger than, is it 50% of the size of the house?
Yes.
Is that a question for me?
That was for staff, sorry.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And, Angelia, do you have any questions?
So what is the square footage of the current garage you have? Estimate.
Let's see, I don't have that in front of me. It's about 25 by 33, 32, 25 by 32.
And the current one, you're looking at 37 by, what is it?
31. 31 by 38, ma'am.
30.
Abby, could you go back to the first one that was showing the plot and everything? Please. Okay, so it's pretty big yard, so that's why we don't need this lot coverage, I see. When you're gonna propose to remove some of the existing concrete?
Yes, ma'am. All of the old concrete will be removed.
Okay. Angela or Justin, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good at this time.
Yeah, 2.
Okay. Is there anyone that wants to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? Please hit the hand next to your name to speak.
There is not.
Okay. 43-22. I'm going to vote to allow the garage, the larger garage, and I'd be moving it about 8 feet further away from the property line. But I'm going to vote to deny the second floor of that. I think that would make it too large and unsightly for and I don't see any real need for that second floor part. The first floor, I vote to approve. The second floor of the garage, no.
I second it.
I'm gonna disagree.
But can we add one more thing?
No, we've already voted. But I
Yeah.
have, Justin, are you saying no to the whole thing or just
Yeah.
the way I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean the way it's advertised, I mean.
Right, correct.
All right. So Mr. Perkins, you have 2 votes to have the garage part, the first floor, not the second floor. And your paperwork will be sent to you.
Well, per the guidelines for the area, the building is not taller than the existing home. So it does fit in the guidelines of everything in the area.
I voted to have it 1 floor.
So, well, but I don't know if that was even a part of the variance. Is it?
It wasn't to my knowledge. I thought the only variance was the distance from the property line.
Is there an issue with it being over 1,000 feet though? 1,000 square feet for an additional structure?
Not in this area. The architect has already checked all of that, plus the height. So both of those things are within line of the area.
I'm asking Debbie and them because I know I specifically seen something that said it should, if things shouldn't be over 1,000 square feet.
The variance requested was with regard to the structure being more than half the footprint of the home. There was no
Yeah, and
request in terms of the height of the structure.
I would just say in my dealings with these is that it's typically the ground floor of the structure. So the second floor probably does not get added into that. It would be the size of the ground floor. So the size of his building, regardless of the height,
Mm-hmm.
isn't the problem. It's the overall size of the building. So it's that
Right.
the second floor wouldn't have come into play.
All right, well, thank you for explaining that, and, then I'm going to vote, I'm gonna change my vote to a no.
For both of them or for the setback and the,
For
I-
the,
if,
for the whole 43-22 petition.
Okay, and I vote, yes for the setback.
okay, so, all right, I think we need to take a timeout. So you're saying no, so the vote, Janet, that you're making is a motion to deny the
Deny.
setback and the 50%.
The whole petition, yeah.
Okay. And Angela, you're saying yes to the setback,
Yes,
no to the 50%.
yes.
Another thing I might add is that for this size of property, the building that we are requesting, wouldn't even come close to any type of a size going over a size. The size of this property more than warrants this size of a garage, which is only a few feet more wide and only a few feet more long than the existing garage that we have here.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna recommend, or I'm gonna vote. I'll allow for the setback, and then at this point, it doesn't really matter my vote on the size of the garage. So, I'll say no to the size as well.
All right, your paperwork will be sent to you, Mr. Perkins.
So just to be clear, the setback is okay, but not the
Yes.
second story.
That the overall size of your building is gonna have to shrink down to be at least a maximum of 50% of your house.
How about the setback line?
The setback line's been approved.
Be getting your paperwork in the mail and it will explain everything.
And no second story?
No, apparently you're allowed a second story, but we're not talking, I believe Justin,
Yeah, I believe that size is just the
The
30.
footprint.
Yeah, the footprint will have to get down to the 50% of the footprint of your house.
so then you can go up have the second floor, but you have to shrink the whole footprint of the house.
Correct.
I mean, of the garage, sorry.
And what do you have as the footprint of the house?
We don't have the footprint of the house on the plan as far as I see. It may
You would
be on the
probably have to-
application, but I don't have that in front of me.
I guess the one question, this is Jimmy Perkins again, is I'm thinking the footprint of the current garage is over 50% of the footprint of the house. But I can't swear to it. I mean, I'd have to measure it, but yeah, I thought the whole variance was for the setback from the property line, which thank you very much. I appreciate the vote for that. But the 50% I was not aware of. So.
Well, it states it here in our petition, it would be more than half the footprint of the home.
Okay.
And why is that a problem?
That's
It's the code that's out there that is being administered. So I mean,
The code per what? An HOA or a?
It's part of the zoning ordinance.
County.
so perhaps you could call the zoning office tomorrow and that part can be discussed with you. All right. So
I move to adjourn.
I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for today.
Seconded.
Concur. Thank you, guys.